What does a ship captain do when he's offered an opportunity to retrieve a rare plant in the Amazon jungle amidst a lot of danger? Hello, and welcome to our channel. Today we will review and recap an American action and adventure film called Jungle Cruise. Let's check it out. The movie begins with an adventurous military captain, Aguirre, sailing through a boisterous storm on his quest to find a rare and mysterious tree known as the Tear of the Moon, which is located in the forests of South America in the La Llorona waterfalls. This strange tree has been the obsession of a number of adventurers before him. Unfortunately, he and his men face many perils, and most of them lose their lives from snake bites and to other misfortunes along the way. As he loses his men to these sad incidents, he is found and saved by the locals in the jungle. They take him and the rest of his men to the head of their tribe, who shows them kindness and nurses him and his people back to health. However, Aguirre becomes captivated by a pendant known as the Arrowhead, a mystical object that is believed to point anyone in the direction of the magic tree that he seeks. When his request to have the arrowhead is declined, an angry and ungrateful Aguirre attacks the village and burns it down before taking the life of the tribal leader. Desperation can really be a dangerous thing. It exposes the most treacherous nature of humanity. It is sad that Aguirre would dare to fight and destroy the homes and lives of the same people who literally just helped him out. Before the demise of the chief, however, he curses his attackers with immortality. Wait a minute. How is that even a curse? Well, it's because these men, according to the curse, would never be able to leave the Amazon forest for the rest of eternity. About 400 years later, a young man, McGregor, is desperately trying to convince the members of a society made up of experts in exploration. In his speech delivery, which lacks conviction and credibility, he's doing a poor job of telling the society members about the Tears of the Moon tree and why it would be a good idea to explore it. As a result, he wants the society members to release the arrowhead to him for an expedition. Somewhere in the audience, McGregor's sister Lily, who is the real brain behind his presentation, is convinced that her brother would not be able to convince the society members. So she decides to get the arrowhead herself. As she makes her way to the room where special artifacts, including the arrowhead, are kept, she looks at the map that she's drawn out on her hand. She bumps into a man, Joachim, as she goes towards the location of the arrowhead. He believes she is looking for the rooms of the assistants, so he doesn't stop her. As she finds the room, she picks the lock to the door and changes into a man's clothing so as to avoid suspicion. After some searching, she finds the arrowhead and takes it. Shortly after, Joachim is led in by a member of the society that McGregor has been unable to convince. Joachim is also searching for the arrowhead, and when they open the box where it's supposed to be, they find it empty. He sees Lily, who is now trying to escape, and they go after her to retrieve the artifact. Lily fends off her attackers until she is knocked out of the window by Joachim. He asks for the box containing the artifact, and Lily eventually tosses it to him before falling into a truck filled with soldiers. He is excited to have the artifact. Unfortunately, he finds the box empty. Joachim is terribly upset and eventually ends up taking the lives of the society members there with him. Lily and McGregor prepare to embark on a journey to the Amazon with the hopes of finding the same mysterious tree that Aguirre had set out to find. They have great dreams to bring back something that would cure the diseases of the world. However, there's only one thing that's missing: a captain to sail with as they go on this noble expedition of theirs. Frank is introduced as a ship captain who has a boat for tourists. However, Frank is not exactly an honest man. To make some extra money from his tourists, he designs bogus traps and contraptions so as to fool the tourists into thinking that their particular boat trip was very dangerous and adventurous. Frank is also behind on bill payments to the owner of most of the boats in the town, Nilo. After docking his ship one day, Frank is met by Nilo, who wants his money from him. Frank doesn't have all the funds required, so Nilo, who happens to be your miniature version of a mafia boss, removes the engine of Frank's boat and locks it away. He intends to hold on to this engine until Frank pays him what he owes. Lily, who is desperately looking for a boat captain, goes to Nilo to make the necessary arrangements for him. Incidentally, Frank has found his way to Nilo's office, where he hopes to retrieve the key to the place where his engine is kept. Lily, on the other hand, finds Nilo's office and stands outside the door where she begins to speak to him about her intended journey. Frank pretends to be Nilo, When Lily tells him what she is willing to pay for the trip, Frank wastes no time accepting the offer. However, when he becomes aware of the exact place, he tells her that the trip is a dangerous one and suggests a different adventure. Lily notices he is trying to unlock the closet where the key to the room holding his engine is. She helps him unlock it. Frank now believes that Lily just might be an asset and decides to go. As they leave the office for the restaurant, McGregor comes along with Nilo. Lily is upset at Frank for attempting to deceive her, and as she rises from her seat, Frank sees the arrowhead and is convinced that he wants to go on this trip with her. He reduces his price and continues to do so, but Lily doesn't budge. Suddenly, a jaguar walks into the restaurant. Nilo says a short and faithless prayer before disappearing, not even waiting to see if his prayers would be answered. Frank fights off the animal until it leaves. Lily then decides to go with Frank, con man or not. As Frank prepares to sail off with McGregor and Lily, she is kidnapped by some locals acting under the instruction of Joachim. Fortunately, her captivity doesn't last very long as she manages to escape and joins Frank on his boat. When Joachim discovers that Lily has escaped, he brings his submarine to the river's surface. Joachim is an obsessed soldier who believes that the petals from the tree would bring Germany victory in the First World War. As he shoots bullets and torpedoes at them, Frank manages to steer their boat clear of the danger. However, he ends up destroying a number of Nilo's boats. On the trip, Lily is really demanding and insists on specific routes, but Frank always finds a reason to suggest an alternative. One night, McGregor retires early to bed, but soon finds himself running to the deck of the boat in terror. The same jaguar from the restaurant is seen coming after him. As the big cat pushes him to the floor of the deck, it begins to lick his face. Puzzled by this strange behavior from a big cat, Frank reveals that the jaguar is actually his. Lily, of course, is angry again at the dishonest ship captain.
Although Frank appears to be a deceitful person, there seems to be something a bit harmless way down inside. He's also quite mysterious and also kind-hearted. What is it that's beneath this huge, imposing man? What does he really know about this trip that they've just embarked on?
A very desperate Joachim has been able to make his way to the prison where Aguirre and his men are imprisoned as statues. He awakens one of them with the water from the river. A snake comes alive, and Joachim enters into some form of alliance with the creature to get to the mystical tree. Joachim then proceeds to blow up the prisons of the 4-century-old prisoners. Frank, on the other hand, gets to a dangerous part of the river and barely manages to keep everyone and the boat safe as the tides are super powerful. After escaping a very dangerous tide, Frank gets the boat to calmer waters. Later on, as Frank and McGregor go to get some wood for the ship's engine, Lily sneaks into Frank's quarters. For a character as cunning as Frank, he has to be up to some mischief. Shockingly, she finds maps and diagrams of descriptions to the tree. Lily gets angry and confronts Frank. She believes that he is also interested in the tree. Frank tries to explain to her why he has the maps. He admits that he was interested in finding the tree a while back, but eventually had to give up on the quest. Several natives suddenly appear and take them hostage after knocking Frank out. As they speak before the natives, it turns out that they are not a hostile tribe. They also know Frank. Lily asks for the meaning of the inscription on the arrowhead. The tribal head says it's a statement that means the one who seeks the tree must turn water into stone, as well as mend a broken heart. She also tells her that the perfect time to get to the tree would be at the blooming of the tree, which would happen in just 2 days. As Lily now has all the clues she needs, she decides to pay off Frank, but he is unhappy about this. And later that night, the resurrected, cursed men of Aguirre attack the locals. The trio battle the undead. One of them snatches the arrowhead and tosses it to Aguirre, but Frank attacks him and takes it back. In the course of their fight, Frank is stabbed. As he's about to fall to his death, he throws the arrowhead back to Lily. Lily and McGregor run off amidst the pursuit of Aguirre's men and snakes. When they find that the forest has a restraining effect on them, they send a bee to Joachim to seek his help. In the morning, they find Frank, who is shockingly still very much alive. He eventually tells them that he was one of Aguirre's men, and this means that he's been alive for over 400 centuries. For the rest of the journey, Lily and Frank have to go alone, as McGregor is left behind with the locals.
And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Frank is not your everyday sailor. His involvement with Aguirre and all the adventures associated with it has changed his life. And for a man who has seen hundreds of friends, companions, and associates live and die before him over the centuries, his outlook on life is going to be quite different.
The bees arrive at Joachim's submarine and tell him about their request from Aguirre. Talk about a bee whisperer. As Frank and Lily leave for the place where the tree is, Frank tells her about his involvement with Aguirre. It turns out that he and Aguirre were best friends. He even draws the map on her hand. Frank decided to go with Aguirre to get the tree's petals because of his sick daughter. However, when he discovered the evil in the heart of his friend, he abandoned him and even fought against him until he was able to trap them. Meanwhile, Joachim captures McGregor, who wastes no time in telling Joachim where the arrowhead is. Joachim quickly smacks all the bees dead so they wouldn't reveal the location to Aguirre's men. As they get to the location where the water is to be metaphorically turned into stone, just like the head of the local tribe said, Lily and Frank swim under the water to release a lever of some sort. Frank gets attacked by piranhas, leaving Lily to almost drown. Fortunately, the lever is adjusted, revealing a route to the tree. As they celebrate this, Joachim appears with his submarine after taking McGregor. Again, one of the bees escapes and goes to reveal to Aguirre the location of the tree. Frank, Lily, McGregor, and Joachim arrive at the location. For a tree that is believed to be alive, this one looks dried up and pretty shriveled. Under the threat of Joachim, Frank and Lily work together to cause the tree to bud. As they succeed in doing this, Joachim sends his men to take the petals of the tree's flower. Afterward, a fight breaks out, with Frank gaining the upper hand. Lily gets one of the petals just before the tree returns to its dried state. Then she falls off a log. Joachim asks for the petal before he helps her, so she tosses the petal, but Joachim also slips off the log and becomes trapped. Aguirre's men arrive and do not hesitate to take Joachim's life. They battle Frank for the petal, but he tosses it to the siblings before crashing his boat with the attackers on it. The forest vines take them all, including Frank, and turns them into statue-like creatures. Lily, who now has the much sought-after petal, decides to help Frank become human again. She does, and he is freed from the bondage of the forest. Seeing her kind-heartedness, something strange happens. The tree, which had already returned to its dried-up state, releases a single petal to Lily as compensation. As the movie ends, Frank and Lily are seen driving a car in the city of London.
This fantasy movie explores the beauty of simplicity as evidenced by the lives of the locals. It also shows the dangerous power of greed and the sorrows that end up coming with it. It might also suggest that immortality is really powerful when you can share it with someone else. Other than that, living forever is probably going to be pretty boring. Although this movie didn't do so well at the box office, it really is a good one to watch. If you enjoy adventure movies, then look out for this one. Please subscribe to our channel to be notified when we upload. And also, don't forget to suggest movies that you want us to recap in the comments down below.